Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issues 3 royal decrees. The Supreme Committee dealing with COVID-19 developments decides to exempt employees from coming to workplaces in the government institutions. Sultan's Armed Forces and the Royal Oman Police activate control of checkpoints for movement of citizens and residents between entrances and exits of all governorates of the Sultanate. And 13 new cases of coronavirus COVID-19 infection of citizens are recorded in the Sultanate. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issues 3 royal decrees. Royal Decree number 41/2020, amending some provisions of the Cultural Heritage Law. Article 1 replaces the text of Article 6 of the aforementioned Cultural Heritage Law, the following text. Article 6. The Ministry shall manage and develop all archaeological, historical and cultural sites and projects. Article 2 cancels all that contradicts with this decree or contravene with its provisions. Article 3. This decree shall be published in the Official Gazette and come into force from the following day of its publication. Royal Decree number 42/2020, issuing a tax institution system and ratifying its organizational structure. Article 1. The provisions of the attached tax system are applied. Article 2. The organizational structure of the tax apparatus is approved according to the attached appendix. Article 3. The chairman of the tax authority exercises the powers set for the minister responsible for financial affairs mentioned in the income tax law, the selective tax law referred to, and any competencies related to the report of income tax exemptions wherever it appears in the royal decrees, regulations and laws. Article 4. The chairman of the tax authority shall issue the necessary regulations and decisions for the implementation of the provisions of this decree and the attached system, and until it is issued, the work shall continue with the applicable regulations and decisions in a manner that does not conflict with their provisions. Article 5 cancels all that contradicts with this decree or contravene with its provisions. Article 6. This decree shall be published in the Official Gazette and shall come into effect from the date of its issue. Royal Decree number 43/2020, ratifying on the multi-party agreement in implementing procedures of tax pacts to avoid content erosion and profit transfer. Article 1. Ratifying of the aforementioned agreement in accordance with the attached form. Article 2. The competent authorities must deposit the instrument of ratification of the aforementioned agreement in accordance with its provisions. Article 3. This decree shall be published in the Official Gazette and shall come into effect from the date of its issue.
عدم الالتزام بتوجيهات اللجنة العليا للتعامل مع فيروس كورونا يعرضك للخطر والمساءلة القانونية. حافظ على صحتك.
The Supreme Committee in charge of discussing the mechanism for dealing with developments resulting from the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19 held a meeting this morning headed by His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al-Busaidi, Minister of the Interior, and in the presence of its members in the Ministry of the Interior to monitor the development of these pandemic measures to prevent it and ways to avoid its spread. In view of the increasing number of cases infected with the COVID-19, the committee decided to exempt employees from coming to workplaces in the government institutions, except for the employee whose work requires the presence to complete necessary work. The rest of the employees do their work remotely as determined by the head of the unit in which they work, and any employee can be called to do any work that requires his/her presence at the workplace. The heads of the government units should take necessary measures that ensure the main work is not affected by reducing the number of employees and take necessary precautionary and preventive measures to combat the spread of the disease. The private sector institutions and establishments take necessary measures to reduce the number of employees to the minimum necessary to continue performing their basic activities while emphasizing the extreme necessity to adhere to the procedures and measures established in preventing the spread of the disease. The decision will take force from tomorrow, Wednesday, 1st of April 2020. In the context of the efforts made to reduce the movement of citizens and residents to limit the spread of the disease, the military and security bodies will take necessary measures to achieve these decisions. The committee requests everyone to respond to these measures and cooperate with these bodies to implement them. Sultan's Armed Forces and the Royal Oman Police activate control checkpoints for movements of citizens and residents between entrances and exits of all governorates of the Sultanate, continuing its national roles in line with the procedures taken and the number of decisions and procedures issued within the framework of dealing with the effects of COVID-19 spread and to preserve the safety and health of citizens and residents. The Sultan's Armed Forces and Royal Oman Police will apply procedures related to control movement between the governorates of the Sultanate entrances and exits according to the decision of the Supreme Committee dealing with the COVID-19 spread and will be applied from tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 1st as follows. Control the movements between the Sultanate's governorates for all citizens and residents. This decision shall be applied for everyone except minimum number of employees in public and private sectors as their job requires the presence according to the head of the unit's decision. Movement of ambulances and emergency vehicles, movement of security and military vehicles, movement of vehicles of necessary food and life supplies for citizens and residents, movement of vehicles carrying construction items, commercial goods, oil derivatives and alike that serve both sectors. Exceptional cases of citizens and residents movement according to the direction of the security checkpoints between the governorates. Sultan Armed Forces urge everyone to commit to the decision of the Supreme Committee to achieve the public interest and calls citizens and residents to carry their identity and civil cards and work cards while using the roads, in addition to cooperate with the military and security devices in controlling crossing points between the governorates and stress that the importance of staying home unless on emergency. The Ministry of Health announced the registration of 13 new cases of coronavirus COVID-19 infection of citizens. The total number of cases recorded in the Sultanate now is 192, out of which 34 cases are recovered. The ministry calls upon all to strictly adhere to quarantine procedures. It as well called them to strictly adhere to the social distancing instructions issued by the COVID-19 Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health. It also called on all citizens and residents to constantly clean hands with water and soap, avoid touching the face, nose, mouth and eyes, and follow hygienic habits when sneezing and coughing. And to limit the financial effects resulting from COVID-19 developments and spread, the tax institution announced the following procedures. In case the tax declaration is not submitted on time, it can be applied by paying taxes within not more than 3 months from the date, and exemptions from fines and procedures for not submitting the declaration and paying tax on time. Tax may be paid in installments, and exemption from added tax by 1% from the unpaid amount according to the conditions agreed with the tax institution in this regard. The taxable individual may object to the assessment of the tax, correct it, amend it, or make the additional assessment within a period of 45 days from the date of the notification of the assessment. The taxable individual may request an additional period to submit the required clarifications and documents to consider objections submitted by them. Donations which paid for combating the pandemic are deducted during the taxation year from the income subjected to the income tax in 2020, according to the rules defined by the law and its executive regulations. The Higher Education Admission Center announced the registration to enroll in higher education institutions for the academic year 2020-2021 for the general diploma students, or its equivalent for the academic year 2020, starting from tomorrow, April 1st till the 1st of June 2020. The Omani students aged between 16 and 25 can register through the electronic admission system and apply for the offered programs at the higher education institutions for the internal scholarships in the private higher education institutions and external scholarships in higher education outside the Sultanate. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that it is following with great interest the escalation of military operation in Yemen, and the latest one is launching a ballistic missile on Saudi territory. The Sultanate deeply regrets these developments, hoping everyone to calm down and avoid escalation and allow the completion of the international effort for a ceasefire and the resumption of political process in Yemen, because that is the only way to achieve security and stability in the region. While efforts on preventive measures are exerted by all in the country, our colleague Abdullah Al-Rabai this afternoon was at the Embassy of Pakistan, and he has this interview.
Viewers of the Sultanate of Oman television, welcome to this special coverage on coronavirus. Tonight, we are here at the Pakistani Embassy, and right now with me here is His Excellency Ihsan Wagan, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan Ambassador in the Sultanate of Oman. Your Excellency, welcome to this particular interview, and we appreciate your time. What would you like to tell us about the role of the Pakistani Embassy in preventing the spread of coronavirus?
As an ambassador of Pakistan, it is my responsibility to ensure the safety and security of Pakistani community, which is living in Oman, and we have taken a series of measures. First, I would like to brief about the internal measures for the embassy which we have taken here. We have come to the essential staff once we knew that this is going to be affecting the population here in Oman. So essential staff is only deputed in the consular section. Secondly, we have ensured the hygiene among the consular hall and the entire embassy. We have introduced the hand washing system everywhere. We have introduced the sanitizers on the all consular desks and the paper handling staff. And we have also introduced the minimum interaction of the community. We have advised Pakistani community to go online for acquiring the consular services. These are some of the internal measures.
The second thing we would like to know, what measures the Pakistan embassy have taken in order to spread information to all the Pakistani community here in the Sultanate of Oman?
The Supreme Committee's decision for ensuring the safety and security of the residents in Oman is highly appreciable. In line with the decision made by the government of Oman and especially the Supreme Committee, I went to the media, social media, and we have more than 15,000 Pakistanis linked on the WhatsApp group by the embassy. So we encourage them to follow the instructions of the Supreme Committee. We have encouraged them to stay in houses. My message to the community was to stay home, stay safe, and stay connected with the embassy. So we have also appointed a focal person in the embassy in case of any emergency dealing with the COVID-19. On 23rd March 2020, I issued a press release advising Pakistani community to stay in their houses. I advised them not to go to the public places, not to go to the markets, not to attend any prayer in the congregation, and that message was sent to more than 15,000 social media activists in Oman. Let me also say that more than 400 health professionals of Pakistan origin are in the front line. Alhamdulillah, they are contributing significantly in various parts of the Sultanate of Oman. This is a global challenge, let me say this, and everyone has the social and moral responsibility to fight this pandemic. And in line with the Supreme Committee's decisions in Oman, I have advised my Pakistani brothers and sisters living in Oman that they should strictly follow the guidelines by the Supreme Committee. In addition, I would advise them to follow the hygiene conditions, washing their hands frequently, applying sanitizers, maintaining physical distancing.
We would also appreciate if you could give a general message to the Pakistani community in the Sultanate of Oman, and we shall appreciate if you also could deliver that in your Urdu language.
मेरे पाकिस्तानी बहन भाइयों, आज की इस मुनासबत से मैं आप सबको ये गुजारिश करूँगा कि सुल्तानत ऑफ ओमान में सुप्रीम कमेटी ने जो फ़ैसले किए हैं उन सब फैसलों को आपने भरपूर तरीके से कंप्लाई करना है, उनकी रिस्पेक्ट करनी है और उनको ऑनर करना है। आपकी अपनी सेफ्टी और सिक्योरिटी पूरे मुल्क के लिए बहुत ही ज़रूरी है। मैं गाहे बगाहे आपको मैसेजेस देता रहा हूँ और देता रहूँगा कि आप अपने घरों में रहिए, आप फिज़िकल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन कीजिए, आप मेरे जो डॉक्टर्स ग्रुप मैंने आपको जो बताए हैं उन डॉक्टर्स के साथ राब्ते में रहिए, और सफारत खाना पाकिस्तान हर वक्त आपकी मदद के लिए मौजूद है, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला के हिफ्ज़ व अमान में होंगे और आप अपने वेलफेयर और अपने खैर वाफ़ियत के लिए मुझे हर वक्त आप कांटेक्ट में रहेंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
We do conclude this particular interview with His Excellency, the Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Your Excellency, thank you very much for your time. We do hope these precautionary measures will be followed very well with the people of Pakistan who are residing here in the Sultanate of Oman. We thank you once again, and we wish all the very best of health.
Still to come in our news bulletin. The Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources, in cooperation with the BR Company, implement a unified sanitization campaign targeting all governorates. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Research Council announced that the registration for 7th cycle of the National Research Award 2020 was opened on its 15th of March 2020 until Wednesday, 29th of April 2020. More details in the following report.
The Research Council TRC announces that the registration for 7th cycle of the National Research Award 2020 has opened on Sunday 15th of March 2020 until Wednesday 29th of April 2020 at 2 p.m. The National Research Award NRA is divided into two categories: Best Published Research led by a PhD holder or equivalent senior specialist or higher in the medical field, and Best Published Research led by a young researcher, a non-PhD holder. As for the research fields, it consists of 6 fields, and they are education and human resources, information and communication technologies, health and social services, cultural, social and basic sciences, energy and industry, and environmental and biological resources. Interested applicants can apply through home.trc.gov.om/NRA/submission form .aspx. Some of the general conditions are that a research article must be of relevance to the Sultanate of Oman and falls under one of the 6 research fields of the award. The published research must not have won any other award nationally or internationally. The award is limited only to original research studies and articles. Only one application per cycle is allowed. The applicant must provide written consent from each team member to prove his or her approval to participate in the competition. And only complete applications for the award submitted electronically on TRC's website and supplemented with all required documents as attachments will be considered for evaluation. Applicants can find additional information regarding the conditions through TRC's official website, www.trc.gov.om. For further inquiry, interested applicants can contact NRA at trc.gov.om. The NRA aims to encourage researchers to conduct high quality and relevant research in areas of national interest, encourage researchers to continue their activities and initiatives in conducting high quality research, and increase the level of awareness about TRC and its various initiatives and programs to support research and innovation.
With us on telephone call is His Highness Sayyid Dr. Fahad bin Al-Jalanda Al-Saeed, Assistant Secretary General for Innovation Development at TRC. Your Highness, could you tell us what impact TRC have created through organizing the National Research Awards for the first 6 years?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to shed light on what have been this national research activity have been impacted the research. Actually, the National Research Award is actually considered to be a transitional and a realization of the National Research Strategy 2008-2020, which aimed at promoting scientific research and building its capabilities in Oman. So by doing these, actually, the National Research Award, it aims at encouraging research, as I said, in conducting high-quality research of the national interest and promoting the published work in the 6 fields mentioned in the reports. And what we are trying to do is basically to encourage different researchers and different scholars, whether they are here in Oman or outside, to concentrate their research in the areas which interest Oman, and also try to convert their research output into knowledge which can Oman really utilize and be utilized in Oman in the future. And also the impact, I think, of this, among other initiatives and programs, is that it provide awareness by carrying this award for the past 6 years and continuing to carry it on for the coming years, inshallah. We are trying also to showcase the initiatives and the efforts carried on by the Research Council in funding research and building awareness about the importance of scientific research and building capabilities of scientific research in different institutions here in Oman.
Your Highness, would you remind us with the number of applications received with the NRA 2019, and do you think this number will increase in this year?
In 2019, the TRC actually received for both the categories, we have two categories, in total 162 applications, and 108 applications were received for in the best published research held by a PhD or equivalent senior specialist or higher in leading a team in the medical field for category 1, and in category 2, which is we call it the young researcher, which is meant for non-PhD holders. Actually, we received 54 applications. That gives us 162 applications in total. In the coming year, actually, if we look back at the number of applications since we started in 2014, we'll see that the number is increasing. Last year, what we received almost was double the number of what we received in 2014. And actually, although there are some variation between the years, depending on the number of applications, how active the research, some of research will really take some time to publish in good journals. The numbers we have until now in terms of application indicates that, inshallah, this year, we're going to have a good number which will exceed what we received last year.
Thank you, Your Highness, and we appreciate your time with us. That was His Highness Sayyid Dr. Fahad bin Al-Jalanda Al-Saeed, Assistant Secretary General for Innovation Development at TRC. The Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources, in cooperation with the BR Company, is implementing a unified sanitization campaign targeting all governorates. The following report sheds light on the efforts of this campaign in North Al-Sharqiya Governorate.
In order to limit the spread of coronavirus and many other disease vectors, the regional municipalities of North Al-Sharqiya Governorate, in collaboration with BR Company, began a unified campaign to sanitize public places.
This campaign started in Ibra today and already focus on sanitize the places, commercial places, and also the public places and the internal roads in order to make community safe and sanitize the places and keep it clean.
The sanitization will cover commercial districts such as markets of all kinds and in front of shops, besides the internal roads that are subject to continuous use by individuals. This unified campaign will cover all 6 wilayas of North Al-Sharqiya Governorate in morning and evening periods, in continuation of all efforts undertaken by all public and private institutions to curb the spread of COVID-19. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issues 3 royal decrees. The Supreme Committee dealing with COVID-19 developments decides to exempt employees from coming to workplaces in the government institutions. Sultan's Armed Forces and the Royal Oman Police activate control of checkpoints for movement of citizens and residents between entrances and exits of all governorates of the Sultanate. And 13 new cases of coronavirus COVID-19 infection of citizens are recorded in the Sultanate. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night.